and welcome to an audio review of Lorraine Anderson's Sisters of the Earth, 2nd edition. Lorraine Anderson's Sisters of the Earth is a compilation of women's prose and poetry about nature. Many female authors are included in the work, but Lorraine Anderson is credited for editing and compiling the pieces. Sisters of the Earth is a collection of poems written by women about the natural world. The book is divided into 7 sections: our kinship with her, her pleasures, her wilderness, her solace, her creatures, her rape, and healing her. This presentation will cover what I feel the book does well as my grievances with the compilation. Towards the end, I will go over my final thoughts on the piece. Part 1. What this collection does well. This piece includes authors of many differing cultural backgrounds. This diversity in writers gives us access to a variety of styles and perspectives on nature. Nature writing, as a subset of literature, has been historically dominated by men. Because of this, Anderson's Sisters of the Earth, 2nd edition, provides a refreshing perspective of femininity. Not only that, but the use of language within the work is remarkable. This collection has flowery depictions of the natural world that immerse all 5 of your senses as you read. An example of this beautiful writing falls on page 175 in Willa Cather's piece, The Ancient People. She writes vividly of the land her and other members of her Navajo ancestry are native to. An excerpt of this piece reads, quote, "Its blue slopes and snowy summit entice the eye for hundreds of miles across the desert. About the baseline, the pine forests of the Navajos, where the great red-trunked trees live out their peaceful centuries in that sparkling air. In the passages, you will find moving works that stir vivid emotions within all who read them. This diversity of styles makes the book hard to review as a whole, seeing as each piece is completely unique." Then Sisters of the Earth, Lorraine Anderson is pushing back against male-dominated nature writing, making the book to push against feminine taboos. The Sisters of the Earth collection mostly does this. Anderson clearly made attempts to be inclusive by choosing women from differing races and backgrounds to contribute, though the authorship could be more inclusive. Part 2. My grievances regarding the collection. Grievance 1. The section title, Her Rape. The section of the book entitled Her Rape is intended to be a metaphor for the lady, representing the environment, and the exploitation of environmental resources as represented by her sexual assault. It's not hard to understand what Anderson is going for here. This is a metaphor that has existed for a long while within nature writing. Nature, like women, has historically been objectified, pursued, and exploited. If this section was entitled Her Exploitation, Her Objectification, Her Abuse, I wouldn't take issue with this titling. However, titling the section Her Rape specifically doesn't do anything nuanced. Instead, it just serves as disrespectful to victims of sexual assault. The idea that rape as a whole is an undertaking taken by men to pursue and control women is not only dismissive to male rape victims, but also to the wealth of complexity that goes into the issue that is sexual assault. Anderson's choice to title the section Her Rape specifically is not only insensitive to victims of sexual assault, but also inaccurate to the section of the book. An example of what this section portrays is Joy Williams' piece Autobahn. In the work, she describes John Audubon's ruthless slaughter of many thousands of birds as he uses them for their resources. This depiction is a great example of how men historically have exploited the environment. The piece shows exactly what the section is about. Joy Williams' piece Audubon is not remotely about sexual assault, but it delivers its message clearly. Titling the section Her Rape is not only unnecessary and inaccurate to the content of the section, but is also dismissive of the larger issue of sexual assault. Thus, this is why it is one of my main grievances within the collection. Grievance 2: Biological Femininity. My second main criticism is the emphasis on the feminine condition related to her body. There are multiple passages within the book that reference women's biology, her ability to bear children, her breasts, her hips, her vagina, etc. Seeing as this collection is meant to depict the female experience, this is unsurprising. However, having your only depiction of a woman's biology be that of a cisgender woman implies that womanhood is defined by biological characteristics of sex assigned at birth. I appreciate that this book is willing to discuss taboo topics such as menstruation and childbirth. However, in a collection that is meant to be a diverse female perspective on nature, it is upsetting to see that transgender perspectives are not taken into account in this so-called diverse collection. Ideally, we would have both passages on feminine experiences regarding her biology, as well as passages on feminine experiences from women in all differing aspects of womanhood, no matter what biology they were born with. Womanhood is complex. In a book designed to be a diverse perspective of womanhood, it is important to recognize that womanhood as a label is difficult to define and includes people without vaginas. Part 3: My conclusion. While there are things about this collection that I do not like expressed within the grievances section, overall, I did genuinely enjoy reading this collection. Though Lorraine Anderson's compilation of this piece could have included more diverse perspectives on authorship, overall, I believe that this collection represents an age of feminism that is a bit outdated. Yet, this collection of pieces does still remain relevant in our modern day of 2022. The collection balances its focus on exploitation and degradation of the environment with peaceful representations of women interacting with the world around them to form a more complete picture of how women experience the environment. Individually, the works themselves are beautifully written and joyous to read, and overall, for any enjoyer of poetry and prose, Sisters of the Earth 2nd edition, Women's Prose and Poetry About Nature is well worth your time.